This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Strategic management, science or art? Summary. In the management domain, strategic management encompasses identification coupled with definition of strategies for everyday use. Usually, managers employ these strategies to strive for high performance as well as admirable competitive advantage for business establishments. In addition to that, it includes decisions as well as acts managers establish and which determine the outcome of the organization's performance. Incisively, a science is whatever skill that manifests detailed use of facts for a particular purpose. Subsequently, an art is clearly characterized as skill critical for any human tasks. Not only is strategic management a behavioral science, but also an art since its application in relative situations involves these two perspectives. Introduction. Ordinarily, argues that the main function of strategic management is to integrate diverse functional components of an organization wholly, as well as to make sure these functional aspects are in agreement. Basically, this involves application of scientific principles established in management and execution of activities to meet desired goals. In brief, the base of strategic management as an art as well as a science are clear in today's global business environment. In this respect, strategic management draws higher profitability if well planned and executed. Literature review. Strategic management as a science. Generally, a science is a taxonomic collection of knowledge about a particular field of study, with universal features which define remarkable development. It simply sets up a cause with accompanying effects, links among two or more factors, and emphasizes the rationale of the relationship. These principles spring up from scientific methods such as observation along with the verification by means of testing. Specifically, a number of features describe science. One is because of the corresponding effect relationship. Indeed, principles of science institute reason and aftermath relationship amidst a number of variables. With reference to strategic management, the same principles exist. For instance, in cause and effect relationships, where there is little stability and authority besides responsibility, ineffectiveness emerges. Second is examination of validity as well as predictability of the subject under consideration. In essence, legality of scientific standards is proved at any convenience. It is important to note that each test will give similar results regardless of when it is done. Furthermore, scientific management principles are examined for validity by use of standards like unity of command through comparison of two persons. Thirdly, according to Gao, generally accepted principles involve scientific standards, which in one way or another signify basic truth of a specific area of inquiry. Chiefly, these principles are relevant in everyday operations. In brief, strategic management encompasses some cardinal principles, for instance, the principle of unity, which are used worldwide. Finally, experimentation together with observation is involved. This basically makes up a thorough scientific look into a field under consideration. Similarly, in strategic management, principles founded on scientific research accompanied with observations like in the principles are highlighted by Henry Heiley. A number of these principles are established by the way of experiments as well as practical encounters of managers. From the above arguments, it is undeniable that strategic management, like other sciences, has a well-arranged body of knowledge. Even though this vast body of knowledge is not like that of other physical sciences such as biology among others, ostensibly because strategic management deals with behavior of human beings, whose behavior is toilsome to foretell accurately. Given that strategic management is a social process, it is deemed as a social science, which is flexible by nature. The reason for flexibility is that theories as well as principles result in a range of results at different times, and hence it is a behavioral science. Strategic management is an art. Conversely, an art connotes manipulation of knowledge together with a skill in tasks to attain desired results. In this perspective, an art is outlined as an individualized application of theoretical formulas for attaining coveted results. For the most part, art has to a large extent practical knowledge. In this case, a manager needs to be well-rounded in academic qualifications and the practical part of management. In addition to that, a manager must have personal skills. For one thing, each manager has a unique style of addressing strategic management, depending on knowledge level coupled with personality. Moreover, a great sense of creativity is critical in an art. In the case of strategic management, creativity is displayed in targeting to bring forth unique results via combination of cognition and imagination. Above all, it harmonizes human as well as non-human endowments to accomplish the desired objectives. Again, continued practice leads to mastery of a given art. As an example, managers gain skills by way of trial and error in the earlier stages, yet daily application of strategic management principles over a long period makes them more competent in strategic management. To sum up, an art is goal-oriented, whereby in strategic management efforts are directed towards attainment of preset goals by utilizing available resources. Therefore, in a way, strategic management is an art which demands exercise of particular principles as it deals with shaping the attitudes as well as behaviors of people. All things considered, management is not only an art, but a science as well. From above analysis, strategic management integrates scientific characteristics and artistic features. It is carefully weighed as a science since it is coherent to a vast body of knowledge, which consists of acceptable universal truth. It is termed as an art because strategic management necessitates accredited skills, which are particular to a given manager. Accordingly, science gives knowledge, while art handles application of acquired knowledge along with skills. It is recommended that for a manager to succeed, one needs to adopt scientific knowledge like the art of using it. Consequently, strategic management is a wise fuse of science as well as art, since it evidences the principles as well as the way these principles are applied. Conclusion: management as a science was earlier on determined by authors of scientific management, especially Frederick Taylor, and remains today in a number of empirical researches on strategic management. On the other hand, Henry Mintzberg molded strategic management as an art and is clear in heterogeneous theories of management. Singularly, most scholars besides management practitioners blend art as well as science to more effectively cultivate managerial talent. Distinctly, this is the case in recent theories of management. This report on strategic management science or art was written and submitted by your fellow student. You are free to use it for research and reference purposes in order to write your own paper. However, you must cite it accordingly.